Hi, Brandi.
Hi.
Welcome to the Lost and Found podcast.
Thanks for having me.
I'm honored that you were here. You're actually one of the first friends that has asked to come on the show.
Yeah.
You know, you've been supportive from day one, and I just appreciate you so much. For any of the wanderers who don't know, Brandi and I have worked together since I moved here in 2022 to Nashville. She was one of my first work friends that I ever made. And we've just, been hanging out and stayed buddies for the last few years. And it's been fun, you're right. And we've seen each other grow, good moments, bad moments, broken legs together.
Really, within a week or two, something like that.
I think not even, I think a couple of days, dude.
You took you to the walking clinic. You were like, oh, I'm fine. I
sprained ankle,
sprained. It's fine. But then you're like, but I probably should go get it checked out. And so,
yeah, my dad wants me to get it checked out. Someone help me.
Yeah, so I'm like, hey, I'll take you. So I drove up here and took you, and
turns out it was broken.
And you were like, oh my gosh, okay, it's broken. I actually didn't break my ankle.
Yeah,
I sprained it on both sides.
So you nearly could have.
It's actually worse. Than
really?
Break. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How are you feeling now?
It still hurts quite a bit, actually. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's still swollen. You see that?
I do. Yeah, a little bit. Mine's still a little swollen too.
Yeah. And
what about roller derby?
Put skates on.
Can't wear skates still?
Nope.
Can you go to? You can't even practice then.
Can't practice. It's been April 22nd was the day that I played roller derby, and it was tackled pretty hard. It's on video. I can stick a little clip in there.
Yeah. Send me the video and I'll add it to this.
Yeah. April 22nd, I believe it was. It was either 21st or 22nd. But yeah, that's the last time I had skates on because I barely put boots on, and I can definitely not wear heels.
Oh,
at all.
Yeah. No.
I don't wear heels. You know me, I love wearing heels.
I know. You have gorgeous shoes. Like your shoe collection is phenomenal.
TJ.
I mean, sometimes you find, well, hey, TJ Maxx, if you would like to sponsor this podcast, let a girl know. But you can find some good stuff there.
Yeah.
It's one of my mom's favorite things to do when she comes back to town. She wants to go to TJ Maxx, she wants to go to Home Goods, and she wants to go to certain restaurants that she doesn't get access to, because we don't have that where we live now. It's all super small and everything's really spread out. So you have to drive 30 minutes to get something nicer like that, or even longer.
Yeah.
She has specific things she wants to do when she visits.
I bet. My husband and I have talked about moving out in rural areas, and I'm like, as long as I'm 15 minutes within a TJ Maxx, I'll be all right.
You're like, I'll think about it. Yeah.
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 I feel like I kind of am. Not I mean, I'm in a suburban neighborhood, but it still feels very secluded from, and I'm 10 minutes from TJ Maxx.
Right. Yeah.
Get my fit.
I was gonna say, but you have such a cool house, though. Leaving that house would suck.
I love my house. It is great. Thank you for that.
You put a lot of good stuff into it, and the pool looks great. And
thank you. And we're doing. Did I tell you about the Airbnb stuff?
You told me you were converting your daughter's childhood bedroom into the Airbnb, right?
It wasn't really her childhood bedroom,
or her room when she would visit the house.
Right. Yeah. So yes. So we actually have a ranch, just for the audience here. We have a ranch, and it's really, really long. Yeah. On one end of the house is our bedroom, and on the other end is 2 bedrooms that have a Jack and Jill bathroom and a separate entrance. The whole area right back there is what we're turning into an Airbnb. So
cool. It's
been a lot of fun. I'm keeping the decor that was there in the kids' bedrooms. They have great taste. So just kind of up leveling it. And so I've been at TJ Maxx a lot and Home Goods, and so all of the places and Marshalls and stuff, especially right now it's been great because we have the spooky room.
Yeah.
And as soon as August 1st hit, all of the spooky stuff at all of those places are
all the Halloween stuff came out.
Yeah. So I've been picking stuff from there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun.
I like that. Yeah. That's cool. And have you always been interested in interior decorating, or that just kind of came recently once you guys got that house?
Whole life.
Yeah.
My mom I feel like growing up, she was changing our bedrooms and living. I swear she moved the couch every month, in the living room. She'd move it from one wall to the next wall and the next wall, and constantly updating the house and stuff. And so I guess I get a lot of that from her, but then I'm also just born creative. My family on my dad's side are all creatives, and so it's just kind of in my blood. That's definitely if I if I had a hobby, that would be it. Like it's decorating. So I've never thought of myself as an interior decorator, but I do really enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, and you're now in kind of like in the digital creative side, rather. Like your father's a musician, your mom was a creative too. How come you went the corporate way versus going your own route, kind of like what they did? What was that trajectory like for you?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Gosh. Well, this might be a long story here.
That's okay. You can start from the beginning. This is a storytelling community, you know, that it's all about the journey. And I know you've had a wild ride.
Yes.
You know, like if your tattoos could tell a story, they'd be learning all kinds of really amazing, crazy things from you. But
thank you. Yeah,
I know that you have a story that you've wanted to share for a while. Because to take everybody back just one second, in 2022, when I first joined our company, I had a podcast idea that I wanted to pitch for corporate stuff that I thought would be a great way to boost intrigue and engage community members here in Nashville, especially because of the people that run our company, they have so many great connections throughout town. And so I thought it'd be a great idea to like pitch an idea where we could do storytelling, which is something that our company does very well. And I thought it would blend nicely. And when I first approached you about it, because I knew I could like bounce ideas off of you and you were always at least supportive, or you would think of things that I would never think of. And it was great. But I remember I pitched the idea to you and you were like, I want to come on there because I think I have stuff that I think would be helpful for other women who are considering either tech or engineering or creatives, or women who think that they have a non-traditional path and that it's not going to go the way that they think it's going to go, but like learning to be like, that's actually an amazing opportunity for you. So whatever you'd be willing to share from that journey, I think would be great just to give some more people insights. Cause I feel like you're a really great example of being exactly who you are and being okay with that and embracing that. It's a very hard thing to do. It's an incredibly introspective thing to do. And I've watched you do a lot of that too. Not that you didn't love yourself when we met, but like you've done it piece by piece, even now still again and again and again. And I appreciate that so much about you, and you lean into who you are. And
thank you.
I like people like that. I want to be around people like that.
Yeah. Authenticity is probably, I have noticed in the past 3 or 4 years, I guess, that like authenticity is what drives me, and what like I've noticed my tribe is people who are completely goofballs or not goofballs, or whatever it is that they are so authentic about themselves that like that's what draws me to people that I want around me. So I try to be that person too, so, but I'm definitely already feeling the tears coming on. So I appreciate all of that so much. It's, you do things that you hope other people, are positively impacted by, but like doing it and then hearing it from that person is it's emotional. So thank you.
Of course. I've been feeling very emotional today. I wrote like a really long thank you letter to the video team today. Stuff that they're doing. I watched that video probably 100 times and just bawled my eyes out watching it. So I wrote them a love note and was like, I don't know if anybody's talked to you today, but I need you to know that this is amazing. And I like went through everything. And Zach wrote back like, please stop making me cry. Yeah, so great. I made 2 people cry today. Nailed it.
I've got waterproof mascara on, so I should be good.
No, you look beautiful. I'm sorry. I keep interrupting you.
No, you're good.
Tell me your life story.
Yes.
Come
on. Geez, where do I start? Before we started earlier, I did say I've had a microphone and a camera in my face since I think the day I was born. My dad is a musician in Nashville, and he's a very creative person. My grandmother, who is this lady right here, my dad's mom, is an artist. And this is kind of where all of this stems from. So that's why I'm
cool.
Going back.
Yeah, no, please. A lot of people take inspiration from their family and their heritage, so it makes sense.
And so my dad was he is the like coolest to me. And my mom's pretty dope too, but like my dad just, the musician. My mom and my dad met in a bar, literally. She was the bartender, he was the musician, and like I love
how very Nashville.
Right. So I love telling that story because it really speaks to like where my roots, came from. And like I grew up at the Grand Ole Opry and like backstage and like the National Palace. Like I love to tell a story about how I fell asleep. My dad would always drag me around everywhere, and I actually fell asleep next to the drum set while they were playing and actually slept. Crazy. Can't sleep today like that, but yeah.
One of my dad's favorite stories to tell on me is that I fell asleep in the front row of Stomp when they came to Nashville.
Okay.
And my mom was like, I don't understand. She's like, we were right there. You could see them. Yeah. They were slamming trash cans in your face and you did not move.
I saw that when I was a kid. Such a great show.
So look at us. We're the same.
Exactly. I like that. So my dad's mom, her name was June. They called her June Bug. She was a painter and an artist, and she lived in Texas. And every summer growing up, my dad would send me off to Texas on a plane by myself at 5. That was insane, to go visit them. And so every single summer, my grandmother would spend, the entire summer at, I can't remember the name of it, but it was like a community place where like all the people in the community go to for like classes and stuff. I mean, we have that here. But there was like, she always led all of the art classes for all the kids, and so she would bring me up there and we would always do crazy stuff. It was in Texas and it was near the beach, so we do a lot of like shell art and stuff, and we would glue shells and make figurines and stuff. And I remember one time she had me do this craft project where I took foil and made like people and like then put like hodgepodge on it, painted them, and I have so many crafts and stuff from growing up. And my grandmother's like just that creative, like literally every year until I was like 15 and like didn't go anymore because I was 15, and you know how that goes when you're a teenager. Right. But that stuck with me for a long time. And so here's where it's going to get emotional for me. I think I never did go into anything creative until I was older, much, much older, 30. Yes.
Same.
And gosh, I'm going to start cracking. When I was in high school, we were only allowed to take band or art. We couldn't take both. So I was already in band because my dad, right? I played the flute. So I was in marching band and all that good stuff. So fast forward, couldn't take art. So I didn't have any art in high school. So this is kind of like just a tidbit of knowledge here.
Sure.
No classes other than like growing up with my grandmother. And so right out of high school, I went into college and I went to Ball State and wanted to be a forensic pathologist. I was like super into like dead bodies and stuff.
Yeah. The macabre, as we know. Yeah. We'll show you photos of that bedroom and you'll understand why she says that.
Anyway, so
you get to Ball State.
I get to Ball State, and a semester in, of course, wild child over here, met a guy, got pregnant, and had my son, and had to like pause school for a bit and figure out life. And I was 19 when he was born. And he was the best thing that's ever happened to me aside from my husband and my daughter. And I was going down a crazy, horrible path of like drugs and alcohol and drugs again and more drugs.
Yeah.
And
it sounds like it was a tumultuous time.
It was,
if you were 19, 20 and you magically become a mom before you were probably, not that you wouldn't have been a mother eventually, but having it happen right then, and you're like, timeline has sped up.
It had, it did. And, living in the South, I'm from Nashville area. It's like you, in the 90s, you graduate high school, go to college, get pregnant, or get married first, then get pregnant, have a family. That's the thing you do, and that's how I kind of grew up. It was like, we'd always play dolls and marriage, and I had my whole wedding planned out by the time I was like 14, so it's like the weird Southern thing. I don't know if that's like everywhere, but like that's here.
It's very traditional down here. I'm sure it's slowly trending upward. Like you can get a little older, but I remember going to Ole Miss even in the mid 2000s, and there were people that would harass the sorority girls and be like, oh, you're just here for your MRS degree and stuff like that.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah. Like why are you studying? You're just here for your MRS. And like, I'm so dumb. I was like, who's getting a master's in rotational science or like something? Like it was so over my head. Cause like being married,
it took me a hot second, but I got it.
Yeah. Being married at that age for me was not going to happen. I have not gone in depth around my relationships in college, like to keep that private for that person, so I don't explain those things. But marriage was never a direct thought for me. Like I was so academic focused, like it wouldn't have mattered. Did not care. But
crazy.
There were definitely plenty of my sisters that did get married pretty much right after college, or like 24, 25 maybe, and like some of them were even, you know, crying at 26 for feeling old, and they probably look at me like I'm a waste of space now, but no, I don't. But the societal thought that that upbringing would have made me think that way if I had stayed there, you know?
Yeah, exactly. You know, I don't have any regrets in my life whatsoever. Everything shaped who I am today. But I will say that I am extremely grateful for all of the women out there today that are standing up for what they believe in. Brianna Media is one of those that I follow on Instagram, who is a very, you know, strong voice about, you know, I don't want kids, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. Like, and there's not anything wrong with that at all.
Yeah.
Everybody has a path, and, you know, God is the only judge.
Yeah. And you, luckily, you got to go down that path twice.
I did. Yeah, I did. And my son saved me. I tell him that all the time. You know, like, I mean, like I said, I was going through a really, you know, dangerous path. And when I was 18, just partying like crazy around people that I shouldn't be around, you know, bad influences, you know, and I wasn't like, I was easily swayed. So it wasn't, you know, for me, it was like, yeah, okay, let's do this, whatever. And it just wasn't great. And so when I got pregnant with him, I knew I was pregnant, but like I had this like, oh, whatever, you know, I'm pregnant mindset. And then like he kicked me. And when he kicked me, it was like, oh shit, there is a baby in there. And I know that sounds like crazy to say.
No, it's not.
But that's literally how it was for me. And then I started going to church a lot at the time, and really, like, I grew up religious, Pentecostal and Methodist.
Oh wow,
my mom was Pentecostal, my dad was Methodist. So, yeah, lots of confusion growing up, but God was still there, number one, you know.
For sure.
So really get, you know, being very aware that I was about to have a baby, getting into church, and that basically saved my soul. I had him and just never really looked back. My mom and my dad were extremely supportive when I told them I was pregnant. They were, you know, my mom was like, well, you know, we need, you know, get you on your feet kind of thing, you know. And I was like, okay, well, I still want to finish college. And so my grandparents actually, after I had my son, paid for his daycare so I could finish college. And my grandmother, her husband was an accountant. So my dad was like, I'm going to tell you this stupid egg sandwich story. When he watches this, he's going to die. So I don't know how much time we have.
And again, feel free to share what you feel comfortable sharing.
Well, I mean, I'm an open book.
Yeah.
So I don't mind. I like it.
But I mean, it's a really important thing because like young mothers deal with a lot, and especially if you eventually became, you know, a single mother, like the children's father wasn't always in their life, or if they were in the life, I know sometimes it was a really difficult relationship. So it's changed a lot over the years.
Yeah, so I'll skip that story for another day. We'll skip some of the details. But I mean, I figured I needed to like fast track a career.
Yeah.
Right.
I got to figure this out. I got to pay for a baby.
Yeah.
I got bills. Yeah.
Yeah. And his dad wasn't around. He did ask me to marry him. And I was like, no, because I didn't love him. You know, it was just a guy. So I was like,
yeah, no, but that's
I made that decision.
And the fact that you knew that you weren't pressured by the religion to get married for the sake of being married. Yeah.
We'll say the second time when I met my daughter's father, we were living together for a while, and I loved him very much, very, very much. And we definitely got pressured into getting married because we were living together by both sides, mostly his side, but I'm not going to get into that detail. But yeah, so anyway, so fast track, wanted to get into, you know, a career that could help support me as a single mom.
Yeah.
I also did all of the work to get my student loans paid for. So I like all my FAFSA stuff, and because I was a single mom, and so the accounting thing, you know, that was a really easy for me because I love numbers, an easy thing for me to like go in and do. And like I said, I did all of the work and all of the research myself. I don't know where my drive comes from, honestly, maybe both my parents, but it's always been there. And so I was just like, I want to do this. I need money for my son. I want, you know, I've got to take care of him and take care of us and all of this. That was my main priority. So whatever I had to do to get that done, I was just ready.
Yeah.
So I actually lived in HUD apartments Had a 2-bedroom apartment, no rent while I went to school. And I worked as a bartender and a server while I went to school. And I just pushed through for the next couple of years. It took me 4 years to get a 2-year degree, but I got it.
Mm-hmm.
And then fast forward a little while, met my ex-husband now, and then had my daughter, who is my mini-me.
She is so cool.
She's
Every time
the
I've chatted with her, she's just so funny. And like, I know that she walks into the room and you can feel it shift because you're just like, who is that? Like,
She's
she's just cool. I would want to be friends with her, but I don't know if she'd want to be friends with me. Like, I'm too proud.
I want to be friends with her too.
Yeah.
I'm her mom. So
but
I can't.
That's right. You have to be her mom.
I'd love to be, but she's 18. So we're working on like the cool friendship now instead of because I don't have to, well,
it's different now. She is an adult, right? At 18, she's doing her thing. Like, you've raised her right.
And my son is doing amazing.
They're about to be a grandmother. That's right.
Yeah.
I know. Your kids are doing awesome.
They are. I'm so proud of them both.
You should be.
They're amazing human beings.
Well, I hope they'll watch the video and like it.
I know.
So you guys will have to let us know what you think. Yeah. So you have your daughter, and then are you still an accountant at that point?
Yes.
Or did you switch careers?
Yes, I was still an accountant at that point. I had her when I was 26. And you know what's really cute is her Instagram handle has the number 26 in it.
Oh.
I didn't know that it was because I was 26 when I had her until like a long time.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh my gosh, how sweet is that? Like, that's an odd to me that, or
a reference to you.
A reference to me that I like.
You didn't notice. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's so special. But anyways, so I was an accountant for a long time, 10 years almost. And I loved that career. However, some of the people in the finance industry do not sit well with people who are, I will say the word vivacious, because somebody actually interviewed me and told me that
Really?
I was overqualified, but because I was so vivacious, I wouldn't work well with the other team members.
That's hilarious.
And I was like, thank you for telling me that
I have too much personality.
Yeah.
Well, and just the irony that women are told all the time, don't be too much, don't do this, don't do that, or don't make other people uncomfortable or whatever. You were just told in a fancy way, you are too much, but thank you, but no thank you.
Yeah. And overqualified. Like, thanks.
How did that make you feel when you actually heard that?
A wave of emotions for sure. I definitely laughed really hard. Kind of like when you were like, I broke my leg. You were kind of pissed off, but it was funny.
Yeah, well, I laughed until I started to cry in the doctor's office. Like, how is this my life? But yeah, sure.
I definitely at that moment didn't cry because I think I was going through so many interviews at that point, trying to just find something.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into all that, but yeah. And so it was just kind of hilarious to me. But that was the first time that really stuck with me where somebody actually like said something that affected my career trajectory because of who I am as a person. And so I was like, it was very introspective. Like I said, I mean, I think about it to this day, and that was like 20 years ago. I feel like maybe not that long, but it was a while back,
Right,
And so it stuck with me, and it's like, well, like, and why? Like, why does that matter? Like if I do a good job, like, why does that matter? It's not like I'm going into the like office with like a bathing suit on, you know what I mean? Like, or even like flaunting anything, And so it's just like, you wouldn't do that anyways.
Well, it's just an odd,
and I
with a more borderline like sexist reason not to.
I was like, should I sue them? I mean, there was a point where I was like, how far can I take this? No, but
the energy. Do you really want to waste your energy on a group of people that didn't want to be? They wouldn't even be friends with you, much less hire you. So like,
yeah, and so, but that really, like I said, that really stuck with me, and I'm like, okay. Again, accounting, and then my last accounting job that I had, I was there for almost 3 years. I was an assistant to a controller at a company, and the environment was just extremely toxic, like so toxic. And I am not going to get into politics or anything, but I'm not one way or the other, really. We're all humans here. Let's all love each other for who we are, and it's really just about love, and
doing the job,
acceptance. And if you don't accept somebody for who they are, then just don't be friends with them, or move on. You don't have to be friends with everybody, but anyway, so there was some sketchy stuff going on, that involved the gay community, and I raised it to HR, and
Yeah.
they basically fired me.
Oof.
Yeah. Again, I could have sued them, but that's not my personality. So,
Well, and it's just another message of where the priorities lie at that particular organization.
Yeah.
And do you want to fight to be reinstated to a group that treats people that way?
right. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I honestly, looking back now, talking about all of this, it's almost like everything happened the way it was supposed to happen so that I'm where I'm at now.
Yeah. Doors were closing on you for a
Exactly.
reason. Yeah.
Exactly.
Maybe not by your own choice, but
Right. When God opens, or when God, what is it? When God closes one door, he opens another, or something like that.
did it ever
Quotes.
did it ever bother you that these things were not happening on your terms? Like you were either being told no or being let go from a situation that you didn't choose. I'm going to quit, or I'm going to leave, or I'm going to.
Lots of tears over that. Lots of tears. Like it was 6 months of torture because I was documenting every single thing that was happening over 6 months. And I was like battling inside myself. Like, do I say something? Do I, do I stay quiet? Or do I like stand up for what I believe in? Like, and then I also thought about my kids, and I was like, well, what would I tell my kids? Like, well, stand up for what you believe in, like if it, who cares if you lose your job over it? You're standing up for who you are and what you believe in. And, a job is that's not your life. I mean, you might say it might be a little bit.
No, that's not what we say on this show anymore. No. Yeah. Well, I've learned the hard way that it should not be your life because you can easily lose who you want to
make it your life if you're in the right place.
I think purpose and career are not necessarily synonymous.
That's absolutely.
However, if you can make them synonymous, that's awesome. Yeah. And I am on a journey to figure out how to make that happen for myself. And I'm really grateful to be at a place right now where I can be creative and have the flexible schedule where I can dip into work life, but also creative life here at the podcast. And that's hard to find. So I understand that you had that battle mentally, and your kids were probably little when you were dealing with that. So they didn't see that. And I know a lot of moments in my parents' lives when they were dealing with, how do we handle this client, or how do we make money this week? How do we cover the bills? What are we doing? Like, they did a really good job of hiding a lot of their fears from my brother and I. So I can imagine that, like, you were doing everything you could to show them the right thing, whether or not they understand.
I will say, I do firmly believe my daughter has been what is the word? I don't know. She's been a watcher. Definitely. Like, she's watched me a lot. I don't know how much my son has, but I can see it in her. Yeah. Because, I mean, she was marching at one of the Trump rallies like this past couple of months. The ICE one. And so proud of her, man. Like, she 100% is authentic. She stands up for what she believes in. She's literally, like, my kids are 7 years apart. And so she was really little when she watched me go through this transition to creative, from accounting to creative, which I'll try to get to soon. So all that to be said, if your parents hid it from you, I was loud about it.
Well, no, it just like they didn't try. They tried to protect us and make us. They wanted us to live our lives and be true to who we are, which was just as kids. But if they were struggling at work, they did their best not to like fight about it in front of us, or like, that kind of a thing, like worry about all that kind of thing. Yeah. They didn't let us be fearful with them or scared with them. That kind of a thing.
I wish I could say that in front of my kids, but unfortunately no. But I will say the struggle that I've gone through, both of my kids have witnessed every bit of it, and I can see in my daughter a lot of the just stand up for your rights and stuff, and I'm so proud of that. So during that, she was 4 at this point. She's 18 now, so it's 14 years ago. During this time, like I said, 6 months of struggling through, like, do I say anything? Do I stand up for what I believe in? I mean, at that point, let's see, I think I was 29, almost 30, and so I was battling in my mind, who am I? What do I want to do with my life? Is this really is this it? Is accounting, like, is this really like my life? And I remember when I turned 30, I have an older sister. She's 10 years older than I am.
Yes.
Yeah. When I turned 30, I called her and I was bawling my eyes out. And I watched this movie called The Vow. Have you seen that with Rachel McAdams and
Sounds familiar.
I can't remember his name, Magic Mike.
Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I watched that movie and then called my sister because I was bawling my eyes out from watching the movie.
Okay.
So the movie talks about, or basically Rachel McAdams and Channing Tatum like meet and fall in love and all this stuff. And then she gets to a car wreck and loses all of her memory of him and goes back before she met him. And so they have to like fall in love all over again. But in that, so that's like not the part that made me cry, but the part that made me like wake up was that she went to art school and was like loving life. Before that, her parents wanted her to be a lawyer and she was going to law school and like all this and that. And like she was supposed to marry this guy who was like the perfect guy. And he was also in law school and like, the whole,
Yeah. Your life's planned out for you.
Right.
On paper, it looked perfect, but in reality,
and that's how I felt.
something's missing.
Yeah. And that's how I felt with the accounting thing. Not that like anybody forced me to do that. It was just kind of like I had to do something quick. And that was a quick career for me. And so I saw that and I was like, oh, man, I really would love to go to art school. I would love to like paint and or do something and get back to my like summers in Texas, And so I literally went to HR, told them everything that I had been tracking for 6 months. And they basically were like, well, they didn't fire me, but they basically made me quit. And so I was like, okay, well,
I got my answer.
yeah. And so I was like, I mean, I was mad and really upset. I mean, really, really upset. But I was like, okay, well, I'm going to try this art school thing. So I went and Nosy had been part of the community ever since I could remember.
Yeah. And
I had gone into Nosy one time when I was 23 or something like that. And then got really scared. Oh, I can't do this. I can't do this. I'm not creative at all. I don't know how to do art work. I don't even know how to draw. And so, I'm scared.
Right.
I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. So you walked out.
They needed to see my portfolio and I didn't have one. So it's like, nope.
Yep.
Okay.
Just kidding.
Just kidding. But at this point, I had a portfolio kind of because I got the blessing at my accounting job, my first accounting job I will name this company because they are amazing people. Okay. Strike and Spare, SNS Family Entertainment, the bowling centers all around Nashville and other states too. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people. Cannot say a bad thing about them. And I had a great boss, Mark was his name, who really let me explore, different areas of a business. It wasn't just accounting.
Yeah.
So he saw the creative in me and was like, well, we need somebody to do the website. So I, at that point, was working on the website. So I got lots of website experience and I was doing MySpace coding and stuff and like just playing around, And so I did have that.
Yeah.
I did a lot of like ads, just like 8.5 by 11 and some 11 by 17 kind of ads for all the bowling centers and stuff. And this was in like 2000. Let's see, I worked there 2005 to 2010, I think it was, or 11. I feel like it was longer than that. No, it was 2000. Anyway, it was 7 years that I worked there. And it was a great company, like I said. The only reason why I left was because I was trying to
pivot further into art.
Career. Yeah. And so while I worked there, I actually did a bunch of research on screens with menus on them that like were all digital. And mind you, this was like way before like all the digital screens and like McDonald's and all that stuff. And so like I kind of feel like I was like a UX UI designer back then, didn't know it,
And explain UX UI for people that may not know.
Oh Lord.
Or define it, I guess, if you can't explain
Put me
it.
on the spot here. Okay, so user experience, user interface, UX UI, or XD is now what everybody's calling it, experience design. It's all the same.
I know. It's like more acronyms. Yeah.
Right. It's all the same. Basically, I mean, gosh, I don't want to put the like industry, like, I want to say this right, because it's such a great industry. But like, for me, it's just like, I mean, this is an experience, like if you ever watch that McDonald's series on Netflix, I think it is, that talks about user experience and like how they've structured the kitchen and all of that. That's user experience. It's not digital.
Okay.
But it's still user experience. It's the experience that a user in the area has, but it's more like making it super intuitive and efficient. For me, that's what grabbed my attention with user experience design was, how can I make something easy for a user to use? And my dad, actually, we used to go to Walmart and play on the computers before we could afford one when I was like 12. And he was always talking about, well, this is user friendly. You know, this isn't user friendly. Or da, da, da. So like that word was like user friendly was like ingrained in me as a kid. And so I was always thinking about like how people use things and like efficiency and like all that. So anyway, so when I got to NOSI, I finally eventually made it there, brought my crazy portfolio that was not really anything in there, and they took me in. I had no idea what I was doing. No clue. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I kind of had an idea. Actually paused. Before NOSI, my dad was like, well, you've done all this coding and all this da-da-da. And my dad went to programming school when he was in college. So he's kind of cool. He's all like, you should try programming. You're basically doing that, because I did a lot of Microsoft Excel VB stuff and automated and made like programs within Excel. So he was like, you're actually creating programs. So why don't you go to, software school? So I did. I went to software school at ITT Tech. Absolutely hated it.
Oh, no.
It's not for me. Love the people, though. The people were amazing. I met some great friends that I still talk to this day.
That's good.
And loved the logic behind it and loved the figuring things out and making things work, But I wanted to work on this is where UI comes in. I wanted to work on what people actually interact with, instead of
not just the back
end and how that makes that work. So I wanted to work with the developers to make it intuitive on the front end and make it look good and work, like just user friendly. Right. So that's how I got into user experience design. Was after ITG Tech, I was like, I really want to work on the front end. So I actually went to the Art Institute for a bit. I don't ever really talk about that because it was like one semester. But I went there. My daughter was 3 at the time. Or actually, no, she was 4. Yeah, because she was 4 at the accounting place. Yeah, so she was 4. And I went there and had great teachers. And I was really like vibing, with Photoshop and like all the art programs and stuff. But I actually at that point, I was working a full-time job still. And so I was like, well, I can only take night classes.
Right.
I can't take any day classes. And when I went there, I was like, this is how my schedule has to be. Long story short, they put me in a day class.
Oh, no.
And I was like, I cannot take a day class.
I can't make it.
I can't do it. And so they were like, well, sorry, you got to. And I was like, well, sorry, I'm going to have to quit then because I can't. And
I got kids, man.
Yeah. And so she was 4 and I guess, or maybe she was 3. I kind of feel like my timeline's way out of balance here.
We're bouncing around today. It is what it is.
Because I thought she was 3. I remember being like, okay, well, when she goes to kindergarten, I'm going to go back to school. But I needed to wait some time because I needed to figure out what I was doing. So I think this was, 26, almost 30, right? So when I don't know what inside me, like how this all like worked out. Nobody told me pick a date and, I've heard and read some articles and seen on Instagram and stuff like this where it's like, if you want to make a goal, pick something that is like in the future that is happening anyways. And then say, when that happens, I'm going to do X, which is what I did with my daughter. When she goes to kindergarten, I'm going to go back to school. So that was just kind of in my mind. And so in the back of my mind,
already in your subconscious.
Yeah. And so when she went to kindergarten, it was almost like this awakening of like, oh yeah, I said I was going to go back to school. I should probably like look into that. And I did.
Let me find it.
When I went back to NOSI. Yeah. And thank God I did. Cause lots happened since then.
Well, it's another very transformative moment, right? Like a big one was when you first got pregnant with your son. And now the next one is you realizing you wanted to actually be more creative and you chose that path.
NOSI changed my life, like for the better. It wasn't necessarily the school, but it was some of the teachers in the school, definitely, the curriculum that I was in. But I will say Keith Wood, big person in my life that's changed my life. He was my teacher. And I was in, I was in my first Photoshop class and had no idea what the hell I was doing. And I had taken that one class at Art Institute, so I kind of knew
a little bit,
just a little. But then we were doing like Illustrator and like all the design stuff, and like we were having to make cereal boxes and like, magazines, and and I had so much fun. And Keith was such a fun teacher and such a great teacher, and we had a small class of like 6 people. So it was very intimate. And I also noticed about myself that online classes is not for me. I have ADHD, and reading and trying to absorb stuff on my own is really, really difficult. And so being in the classroom, that's another thing that I would say if you're thinking about school and online is hard. Maybe you have ADHD and you can't, but it's not you. So going in the classroom meant a lot to me that I was able to do that. So I know a lot of schools are going like online and stuff now, but like that really helped me a lot, is being in the classroom and around all the students. And like we had so many like group projects and like just camaraderie, and it was great. But yeah, so Keith, I will say, I'll never forget, I was in class and I was like at the end of my first semester at NOC, and I think it was Art 101 or something. I can't remember what it was, but I was like, what do you think about my work? I asked him, do you think I like have like anything? Do you think I can make a career out of this? What do you think? And he was like, yeah, you know, he's like, yeah, you got natural talent. Like, and he really just, whether he meant it or not at the time.
But he spoke life into you. He poured into a cup that he didn't necessarily have to do.
But he really did.
He did, yeah.
He did. And then there was another teacher at the Art Institute that did the same thing when I left. He was like, do not quit. You've got something here. Do not quit. Keep going. If it's not here, go somewhere else. Keep going. So like those teachers, man, make a difference.
I think it really does.
Yeah.
The leadership, however that shapes out in your life, can truly impact you. Yeah.
So you asked UX UI. I know I went on a tangent.
No, it's okay. I mean, like it user experience is changing, exactly like you said, from the early 2000s to now. How we interact with the world and what we're doing is changing constantly, especially as you integrate technology into those experiences. So it's very, I only think about UX UI compared to what we do at work, which is typically websites and customized databases and the call centers and stuff. But it can also include the interior design aspect. It's so much more. It's anything you really
design. It really is. I actually really love the switch to XD. I think it's smart because it really is. It's so much more encompassing than like an interface.
It's not just the interface. It's how do you want them to feel while they're doing it? Is it intuitive? Is it easy for them to keep coming back for more? Yeah, it's true. Yeah, you can get a lot out of that. I think that's wonderful. You move out of that, you leave NOC, and you eventually get to where we work now. Looking back on all of those previous experiences, what were some of the lessons you brought into your current job?
Let me think about that one.
Because what we do is very different from what you've done in the past. You're not an accountant with us, you know? So like...
Right. I will say a lot of my accounting career carries over into web design. All those spreadsheets. I was in spreadsheet, I wouldn't say purgatory because I actually really loved it.
You
liked
it,
heaven.
So does my mom.
Spreadsheet nerd.
You guys could totally nerd out together.
Totally could.
Yeah, because she was coding. She did computer science. Yeah. She would do it with you. I would not because I can't contribute. But you two could. I'll pay for you two to come in here and talk about it.
Oh gosh, what did I learn? I mean, group projects. Your career is nothing but a group project. So I will say for everybody who is in college doing a group project, you have to learn patience, kindness. A lot of group projects, usually 1 or 2 people is pulling everybody's weight. And so that kindness and patience really comes in, you know, into play. And I was probably not the most kind, honestly, when I was in school because I led a lot of the group projects, and there would be students that came in right out of high school, 18 years old, and I'm 30. I've already been there, done that.
Sure.
You know, and I'm working a full-time job and I have kids and a marriage that's breaking, you know, and
you had a lot going on.
I had a lot going on, and I'm still in school making straight A's, and I would come to school red-eyed because I've been up all night working on my project, but I'd always have it done by the time class started, even if I was working on it right up to the last minute. And there would be students that would come in and they would forget their book. And they'd be like, hey, can I borrow your book? And I'm like, no, hell no, you can't borrow my book. Bring your damn book to class, you know? And like some of the group projects, all of our grade was one grade together. If everybody didn't participate, then everybody failed. There were people who would come in with nothing, and I'd be like, what are you, like, I was not nice, I will just say. So I have learned a lot about kindness since then. So I will say be kind to your fellow classmates. But like I could have been like, hey, how can I help you be more prepared for the next class or whatever, instead of being like, you're fired because you didn't bring your stuff to,
Right.
I had to fire a couple of people off of our group projects because my teacher told me to.
Oh, wow.
Because I was the manager. And so yeah. And so I would, instead of just being helpful, so I would say like group projects really taught me a lot of how not to do things.
Okay.
So when you get into the workforce and
Yeah.
you're the person that's on the other end and you're not the manager and you're like, shit, I gotta get my shit together and I really gotta support this team. It's a growth opportunity. So I will say definitely just working with others and kindness and patience, man. Looking back, I wish I had a mentor that could have been like, hey,
yeah,
compassion.
Do you have any mentors now that you look up to or have helped?
Yeah. Gosh, yeah.
Come this far?
Yeah, I have my husband actually is.
Yes. Tell us all about Mr. Dick.
Yeah, Mr. Dick Norris.
And you got married earlier this year.
We did.
Yeah.
In March. Yeah. Met him at NOSI.
You did. You met him during classes? Is that how you guys originally got together?
No, we just knew each other.
Okay, tangent, everybody. You need to hear this love story. Okay, go.
Love of my life. That's what I'm saying. NOSI changed my life.
Well, NOSI changed your life, but also it's a good story for the people that think that
love
your timeline is not a traditional timeline.
yeah.
So a lot of listeners might feel like, my timeline doesn't match up with what society says.
6 minutes. Is that right?
You can do it. Yeah.
6 minutes.
You can
love life.
Not your whole love life, but just the highlights of Dick and like how you guys met.
Yeah.
Why is his relationship different from the other ones? Like what makes him, how did you know this is actually, I'm going to get it right this time because this is my man?
I didn't know it.
No.
At
Okay.
first.
Right. Yeah.
I will say I was at NOSI and he was in my first semester and he walked in the door and I was like, oh, who is that?
Mm-hmm.
But it was about a year before we actually started talking to each other.
Okay.
I definitely stalked him on Facebook for sure.
That's
and
hilarious.
he was non-existent. So I was like, who is this guy? Who's this guy? I was interested.
Right.
He is a 4.0 student and I got a 3.8, and that's a whole nother episode we could talk about later because I don't have time. But anyways, the one class I almost failed, he helped me pass.
Well, that's good.
So
What a nice guy.
yeah, so he's like me in a lot of ways. We have the same drivers in life, the same motivators, the same goals, and so it just was really easy, I think, to fall in love with that because my marriage that I was in before, we did not have the same goals. We did not have the same ambition. I'm very driven. He was not, and it just tore us apart, really. And it was really rough. And so I was constantly just pushing and pushing and pushing my career as far as I could get it because I'm just driven that way.
You appreciate growth.
Yeah.
Like you want to grow. You want to get better.
Right.
You enjoy challenging yourself.
I do. Yeah.
Which can be a very different lifestyle choice for other people.
Yeah. Yeah. And there is no limit to growth. I mean, anywhere. No, I'm not talking about like a job, but just in personal.
Yeah.
There's no limit to growth. Everybody can learn every day, no matter how old you are, until the day you die. You should be learning. And so my husband and I feel exactly the same way. We just have so many similar and he is my biggest cheerleader. It wasn't like that before. It was more of like, why are you doing this? Why are you going to school? Why, even my mom was like, you have a family to take care of. Like, why are you going back to school? Like, you should be a mom. And I'm like, no, I'm a person. I'm a human being. I have my own goals and I can still be a mom and do this at the same time. And I did.
Yeah.
My kids turned out great. I could sit here and talk about him forever, but like, he's my everything.
And he's super creative as well because he
God.
he turned the whole basement into like his workshop.
Yeah,
and
he's got 2 3D printers, 2 laser machines.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing silver making.
Yeah, plug his jewelry stuff because I did it.
Littlehawkcustoms.com.
Yeah, we'll add that.
He makes
on the
hats.
screen. Yes.
Yeah. So like not everything is on his website, but if you go to Instagram, it's at Littlehawk Customs, I think. Or they're just at Littlehawk.
I'll add
recently.
his stuff to the show notes so everybody can find it. But
He's a maker.
Yeah.
He is a maker.
That's where I got my bolo tie from episode 97.
Oh, nice.
Yes. I did wear it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
He is.
The day he gave it to me, I went right after that and wore it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still.
He's my everything.
But no, he's wonderful. Well, awesome. Since we only have a few minutes left, I'm going to rapid fire the ending questions. So don't think
Don't
about
go
it.
into
No, just an immediate. This is we're going to
Yep. Just hear me.
We're plugging into our intuition. Whatever you feel
Got it.
first, you say first, kind of thing. Okay. What do you want out of life? And have you found what you're looking for?
I want yes and yes. Love. I want everybody to feel loved and be loved. It's all about love.
All about love.
Yeah.
How do you define success, and what does success look like to you?
Oh gosh, loving and being loved. I mean, it really all comes down to that. I think success is just being authentic and vulnerable and open and accepting.
Yeah.
I won't go into a tangent.
Okay. No, that's a good.
Yeah.
When your children watch this video, what lesson do you hope that they will take away from your messages today?
That I'm not perfect and I've been through some shit and none of us are perfect. And to just understand that every single person on this earth is a human being and everybody's going through something, and that to see me for that as a human and, you know, to take me off a pedestal, maybe. Not that I am, but everybody puts their parents on a pedestal. So I would just say like, hey, this is your mom. This is the person that raised you, not just your mom, kind of thing. Yeah. It's really about that.
I like that. I'm not just your mom. I'm the person that raised you. That's really sweet. Maybe one day I'll get to say something like that to my own kid.
Yeah.
If you could go back in time and speak to younger Brandi, what would you say to her? What advice would you give her?
It'll all work out. Just trust.
Okay.
Trust the process. Yeah.
And for any listeners that are watching right now or listening to our show right now who are feeling lost or untethered and out of balance with their life, and they want to get back to alignment or feel less alone, feel less confused about what to do, what advice would you give to anybody that's feeling lost right now?
Surround yourself with authentic people who are your tribe, because the people around you is what's going to lift you up. That's really the biggest thing. If you're not vibing with somebody and they don't like you, F them, you know? Like, find somebody that does. I mean, I've had a hard year this last year to learn that lesson and be like, you know what? Like, I want people to like me, but that's not, you know, that's not realistic. Not everybody's going to like me. So I'm getting used to learning who my people are and sticking with those people and not forcing relationships where they're just not healthy. Yeah.
Smart. I like that. It's a wonderful lesson.
Find your tribe.
Find your tribe. That's good. Okay, Brandi, close us out. Plug whatever you'd like to plug, or let everybody know if they want to follow you and watch your art projects. I know you started a new Instagram.
Airbnb is the biggest one for me.
Yeah.
And Dick's custom.
His custom stuff. Yeah.
Littlehawk.
Let everybody know how they find
He's
it.
Indigenous. Native American. His name is actually Richard Littlehawk, and there's more to it than that. But, you know, he's really, you know, working on building his brand, and I'm going to help him with that. So, like, yeah, so Littlehawk Customs. And through that, I'm sure you're going to probably see some of our Airbnb stuff. But, yeah, just, you know, if you're looking for a really fun Airbnb experience in Clarksville, Tennessee, we've got, it's kind of a Wednesday Addams, like dual spooky, but then not spooky. I can't remember what her name is on that show, but the two, like the pink and the black. Yeah. It's it's not on purpose, but it very much is like that. So yeah, so just come hang out and
come check that out. Awesome. Okay. All right. That's a wrap, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Wanderers, I'm so grateful for you each and every week coming in and listening and liking and subscribing. Leaving us a 5-star review would be awesome. You know how to find me. Everything's at Podcast for the Lost. We're on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Go and subscribe, follow there so you don't miss a thing. And we'll catch you next week with our next episode. And remember, wanderers are always welcome.